Judges, this is Team TokenTree. TokenTree will give the judges just a moment to put their scores in. But TokenTree, while we're waiting, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Fantastic. Judges, give me a thumbs up when you put the scores in. Thumb, 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 and thumb. 3 minutes on the clock. Go.
We are Team TokenTree, and we are making the world cooler. Now, I say team, but 2 of my team members have had to fly out. One at 6 a.m. this morning to New Zealand, another one back to the Gold Coast. But let's keep going. So, deforestation in Australia is a major problem. It's 40% of our forests have almost gone. And as a result, Australia is the highest in the level of extinction on the planet. And this problem affects our water quality and our carbon emissions. It will cost our federal government $23 billion over the next 10 years to meet our climate change commitments. And we're solving this through TokenTree, and I'll tell you how in the demonstration today. We've created a gamified app that empowers millennials, who are our target market. We're empowering them to be individual and active around looking after trees. Now, it sounds a simple idea, but millennials want to see that transparency on the blockchain. They want to be able to go out and plant a tree, and what we are passionate about is seeing that that tree goes through to a proper life. There's too many planting efforts that you just see those trees just burn out and die. And we're looking to solve that. But we can't do it on our own. This is a solution that requires sponsors. So those sponsors come in the form of non-profit organisations, like decentralised organisations that run as foundations, and they need to clear their profits annually. And then there's other organisations like governments and and people on the ground that we're going to engage with to solve this problem on the ground for the distribution side. So this sponsorship comes in a few forms. I'll come back to the smart contract because it's quite a sophisticated one, and I'll walk you through that, and that is a working contract. But what I'll show you first is the app. So in the app, you can look around for sponsored locations. Now in the real version of this, you'll be seeing logos of the different sponsors of each of these planting missions. And you can go through and have a look at that. There might be one nearby your house. You can have a look, see who's behind it, who the sponsors are, and then if you choose to plant that tree, that becomes your tree. You can then come by, it might be on your way to university or backwards and forwards to work. You can see a tree that's in your area, and you may choose to take on the looking after of that tree every once in a while. So you're providing a double role here. You're looking after the tree, and you're providing verification that that tree is still alive. And you can see the little block numbers up here. This is all being tracked on the blockchain. So now let's just go back a step and look at what's going on in the smart contract. So first of all, there's a sponsor, and they delegate a region. They say that this is an area that needs attention. They may do that with their partners to figure out what's needed on the ground. There's a geolocation, there's a radius. All right, and then they need to post that offer with an incentive of a bounty around looking after that area. Someone might come along and want to plant that tree. So this is all actions on the blockchain. I'll bring up the data behind this. And then we just move through, and then someone just walks past.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. TokenTree! TokenTree, go ahead and grab your device as well and come back over to the middle as Team Globe Square comes up on stage. Judges, you've got 2 minutes for questions for Team TokenTree.
Thanks, really interesting concept. So, yeah, this is based on one person looking after one tree. To scale impacts, we're talking about thousands or millions of trees. How does this scale, and how can one person look after 1 million trees?
Sure. Great question. I'm glad you asked it because it didn't come through clearly in the presentation. One person is the planter, and then you've got other people who may choose to come by that tree. That may bring a couple of bottles of water. They'll do whatever they want to nurture that tree. Because it's all visible, no trees get left unattended. You could be walking past and get a push notification in an area that you frequent to say there's a tree in your area that needs attention. Now, this sounds like a lot of love, but there's so many trees that get planted out there in forestation efforts that just end up dying because there's just no water attended to them.
Just a quick question on the gamification. I kind of missed that in the presentation.
Sure. So the gamification is really around the tokens. Ultimately, people who are involved in this effort, particularly millennials, want to also be ultimately sponsors. So the more coins that they grew, they can ultimately become a sponsor as well and be visible. So the sponsorship is not just as organisations; it's also individuals. And back to that scaling question. Sorry,
45-second one.
Yeah, I didn't actually answer that completely. Internationally, obviously there would be partners involved in that, and also missions for areas that may not be as technologically advanced as what we are, but there'd be missions associated with that, and then training up of people in the area also to maintain that. Yeah. Any last questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
A warm round of applause. TokenTree